Jordan, would you start us off with a roll call, please?
Please respond by stating present. Councilmember Ronayne. Foberg.
Present.
Liebelt.
Present.
Reif.
Present.
Johnson.
Present.
Reinbold.
Present.
Langer.
Present.
Norvstrup.
Present.
Mayor Shoneman.
Present. Please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. First order of business will be to approve this week's agenda as printed. I'm not aware of any changes, so I would take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilwoman Boberg and a second from Councilman Reinbold. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, nay. Motion does carry. We'll move along to our approval of minutes for the meeting of August 1st. Can I get a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilwoman Liebelt and a second from Councilman Norvstrup. Anyone have anything that looked inaccurate, needed changing, or any of that kind of a thing for the minutes? Then I would, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion does carry. I didn't see anyone signed up to speak at the open forum, so we'll move right along to our consent calendar where we've got quite a lot of items of routine city business, a lot of liquor-related things. I would take a motion to approve our consent calendar.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Reinbold and a second from Councilman Reif. Does anyone in the council have anything to contribute on any of these items? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion does carry. Next, we've got our old business. We've got the possible second reading and final adoption of an ordinance labeled 220701, which rezones properties described as lots 1 and 2, the Fessenden addition, which are physically located at 2403 and 2505 8th Avenue Northeast from R2 to C2. There was a bit of discussion on that. Ron, where do we land?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, there was some discussion on that. Since the first reading, we've had an opportunity to visit again with the property owner who is seeking the rezone petition and our council members who are concerned, and we've come up with an accommodation within the easement itself. So we're recommending no changes to the rezone ordinance for second reading, and in fact the easement has been approved and already signed by Mr. Weisbeck, so we're ready to proceed with that second reading, and then we can do verification as required by the city manager.
I move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Johnson and a second from Councilwoman Foberg, and so that takes into account like when these trees begin to age out and die, how they'll be replaced and that sort of a thing, or what happens at that stage in the game?
That's correct. The easement language contemplates both the planting of certain types of vegetation that when planted will be 8 feet, and then other types of trees that when mature will be higher than 8 feet. So that has been the language that was worked out and agreed upon and consented to by the property owner.
Sounds good. Does anyone else have any questions from the council?
I just want to thank Ron for his work on it.
Good work, Ron. Jordan, would you go ahead, give us a roll call vote on the second reading of this ordinance, please?
Councilmember Foberg.
Aye.
Liebelt.
Aye.
Reif.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Reinbold.
Aye.
Langer.
Aye.
Norvstrup.
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Next, we've got our new business kicking off with the possible first reading of ordinance 220801, which supplements the 2022 budget for Parks, Rec, and Forestry activities. And Jordan, why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Thank you, Mayor. This is a routine supplement and transfer ordinance that supplements expenditure authority within the Parks and Rec's operating fund. It transfers in cash from the gift fund, from donations and other revenue sources. Staff recommends approval.
Move to approve. Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Rife and a second from Councilman Johnson. Does anyone have any questions for Jordan on his description? Shuffle money around. Josh, what have you got?
We do this every year, right?
That's correct. It's a little delayed due to the staffing in both the departments, but this is the first and second quarter. We'll come back later with Q3 and Q4.
Jordan, would you give us a roll call vote on this? First reading, please.
Councilmember Nordstrup.
Aye.
Langer.
Aye.
Reinbold.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Rife.
Aye.
Liebelt.
Aye.
Foberg.
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Next, we've got the possible approval of Resolution 220801R for a developer known as S&S Rental LLC to seek a housing infrastructure financing grant from the South Dakota Housing Development Authority. And Joe will tell us a little bit about that program and our approval in that.
Yes, thank you. Earlier this year, the legislature approved a couple of programs, both to be administered by the South Dakota Housing Development Authority. This first one that they're now accepting proposals for is $50 million total. And we actually have two tonight that we're going to bring you. Here's the first one, and then in a couple items we'll talk about the second one. So the first one that's been submitted is called the West Edge Housing Project. And to help familiarize you, this is in a subdivision that was initially named Ringneck Ridge, and that those plans didn't move through. These are some new owners of that property. And it'll be several phases of development, and what they're asking for is the multi-family dwellings in the area. And you can see in the map, they propose what that'll look like, and I think in time that'll be a pretty substantial development. As part of the grant, a resolution from the governmental entity where the subdivision is located is required, and that's what you see in front of you, and what the statements we're making are required by the grant, and staff recommends approval.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Rife and a second from Councilman Johnson. And just to be clear with the illustration that was provided, this is near the overpass on the 281 on the west side of town.
Correct.
It was a tiffed area that kind of stalled out.
That's exactly right.
Any questions from the council on this approval for those guys to seek their grant from South Dakota Housing? Jordan, would you give us a roll call vote, actually, please?
Councilmember Foberg.
Aye.
Liebelt.
Aye.
Rife.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Reinbold.
Aye.
Langer.
Aye.
Nordstrup.
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Next, we'll have the possible approval of Resolution 220802R, which authorizes the Aberdeen Parks and Rec Board to approve certain alcohol service permits at parks and recreation facilities. Ron, will you be telling us about that here
I will,
tonight?
Mr. Mayor, thank you. The revisions that we made earlier this year to the alcohol policy for our Parks and Rec have prompted us to look at other aspects of that approval process. And what this resolution seeks to do is authorize the Parks and Rec Board independently to approve service of beer and wine and cider. And what it would probably likely do is delegate that authority to its director. But this will help streamline events. And if you folks pay attention to the consent calendars, you'll often see that there will be requests for alcohol service approvals, for example, at a wedding reception at the pavilion or something. Those have always had to come through the council, and now we are going to streamline that to allow that to just be handled through the Park and Rec Board, and the Park and Rec Board will basically delegate it and make it an administrative approval by the director. So it's going to help those people that are moving things along to go a little quicker as well. So, and what we also made clear with the resolution is that it only allows for service and not sale of any alcoholic beverages. Every sale at a special event will have to come to the council for a special event license. So we're being very clear with that. But with that, and I will also offer that the park board had an opportunity to review the resolution and recommends approval of the resolution, as does administration.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Reinbold and a second from Councilman Reif. Does anyone have any questions before we take our vote on this resolution?
Mr. Mayor?
What have you got, Councilwoman?
Ron, does this include, like, what if you did a free will offering? Is that sales? Like,
Well, it would be if, it depends on if the provision of alcohol would only be because you gave a free will offering. If that's the case, then it would be a sale. And I know that these are hard, and you saw the statement that I attached, and that was because there was some confusion with some of our both park and rec staff and with the city treasurer's office in approving these or going through the process. It may be a sale, a free will offering. If the only way you're going to be able to get an alcoholic beverage is because you've given something, then that would be a sale.
And the purpose, of course, is so that people can have personal parties and group gatherings and not open to the public.
Correct. Yeah, these are reserved spaces typically, and by having a reserved facility permit, you can keep people out that you don't want. But at the same time, if you're having alcohol, if there are any transactions that are a sale of alcohol, those would have to be by a license approved by the council. Otherwise, you can serve it, and as I say in that statement, you can freely give away alcohol. There's no prohibition against that. It's just when you start getting into the area of sales that suddenly we need to make sure that we're keeping everybody on the bright side.
So I don't know if your loophole is going to work, Councilman. It's your free will offering bar down the road.
we had plans, didn't we, Mr. Mayor?
Any other questions from the council? All right, Jordan, would you give us a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Norvstrup.
Aye.
Langer. Councilmember Langer.
Aye.
Reinbold.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Reif.
Aye.
Liebelt.
Aye.
Foberg.
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Next, we've got the possible approval of resolution 220803R for Developer Reif Project Services LLC to seek housing infrastructure financing grant from the South Dakota Housing Development Authority. Joe, much like the last one, I trust.
Yes, same program, same reason for approval. This one is known as Pine Haven Estates. This is on the east side of town, so it's kind of nice to see one on the west side, one on the east side. This is actually just west of the Primrose project that you recently approved a TIF on. So kind of an open area that will see quite a bit of development if these all move forward. So this is a nice subdivision for single-family housing. I think there's a need for it in the community. Again, same resolution, same conditions, and staff recommends approval.
Move to approve. Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Reinbold and a second from Councilman Johnson. Does anyone have any questions on this development? Go ahead.
Mr. Joe, do you know, is there any plan or thought that either of these two that we're approving tonight on these HDA grants will also have a TIF connected in the near future?
Yes, they will both come back for TIFs.
Yeah.
Any other questions or input from the council? Jordan, go ahead.
Councilmember Foberg.
Aye.
Liebelt.
Aye.
Reif.
I will say this is Reif Project Services, spelled differently, no relation. Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Reinbold.
Aye.
Langer.
Aye.
Norvstrup.
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Next, we've got the public hearing, possible approval of a special one-day retail on-sale liquor license on September 1st for the Aberdeen Area Chamber of Commerce business after hours at Pearson Ford Lincoln Mercury at the Auto Plaza Drive. I don't think anyone's here to speak on behalf of this from the public input side of things, so I guess I would take a motion if someone was interested.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Reif and a second from Councilman Norvstrup. Any last words before we take our vote? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion does carry. Next, we've got the request approval for a special event permit to serve liquor in the K.O. Lee Aberdeen Public Library Meetings Room on November 6th, 2022 during a Library Foundation event. And here to speak to us is Anna Moser from the library. Anna, welcome.
Hi, nice to be here. So this stems from the foundation's May meeting, where I brought to them basically, now that we have this big, beautiful building, kind of how do you want to fill it and what direction do you want the foundation to take? And they thought it would be a good idea to have a donor-centric, invite-only focus group. We have a potential facilitator for it, Paula Jensen with Dakota Resources. She'll be doing this separately from her work with Dakota Resources. And we wanted to have food and alcohol and kind of make it a whole event. Paula will also be doing, I have to say, one-on-one coaching with our assistant director, Kara, to do a community-wide focus group as well on December 8th, we're hoping. So that's basically it. We're just asking that, we're able to serve, all manner of alcohol. We're hoping that we can have literary themed drinks that night. So, but yeah, this is just kind of like a very fancy focus group / donor event.
Thank you for sharing with us, Anna. Take a motion from the council.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion from Councilman Reinbold and the second from Councilwoman Foberg. Any questions for Anna or otherwise input before we take our vote? All right, then all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion does carry. Thanks for joining us. Next, we've got the recommendation to tentatively award AIP Project 346001047-2022 for the GA apron reconstruction. Base bid to Sharp Enterprises of Fort Pierce, South Dakota, in the amount of $3,400,064 and $531.71, contingent upon receipt of an FAA grant offer, and to authorize the city manager to sign the FAA grant offer as well as necessary paperwork. Rich, sort that out for us.
Yep, thank you. We went out for bid during the month of July. We opened bids on July 26th. We had 3 bids, 2 local and 1 from out of the area, which was Sharp. Sharp turned out to be the low bidder on the project. So airport board and staff recommend approval of this.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Reif and a second from Councilman Johnson. Rich, when do you anticipate this work will get underway?
Next spring.
And it'll probably be wrapped up within the course of the spring and summer?
Correct, yes.
Is this somebody you've worked with in the past, Sharp?
We have. They have done the taxiway geometry corrections project, and they arrived back today to do some warranty work.
There's no further questions. Jordan, would you give us a roll call vote on those payments, please?
Councilmember Norgstrup,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Reif,
Aye.
Liebelt,
Aye.
Foberg,
Aye.
Mayor Schoeneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Next, we've got our possible approval of payments for the work on the airport improvement projects and to authorize the city manager to sign those pay requests. Payment number 33, taxiway geometry to Helms, $6,009.48. Payment 9 for the GA apron project to Helms for $1,388.68. Payment 17 for the GA apron reconstruction also to Helms for $53.17.76. Rich, these all seem in line.
They do. I want to sort these out just a little bit. So the first 2 line items are for the current taxiway geometry improvement project, and those are for construction, admin, and observation services. The third one is for the upcoming project. So that'll be GA Apron Phase 1, and that's for Helms bidding services to put that out for bid.
Move to approve all 3 payments for these improvement projects.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Johnson and a second from Councilman Reinbold. Does anyone from the council have anything? Jordan, go ahead with the roll call vote, would you?
Councilmember Foberg,
Aye.
Liebelt,
Aye.
Reif,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Norvstrup,
Aye.
Mayor Shonneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Rich, thanks for joining us
Thank you,
here
Council.
tonight. Next, we've got our possible approval of payment request number 1 in the amount of $557,468.71 to Reedy Construction for the North Dakota Street paving project that seems to be well underway. Robin, what can you tell us about that payment?
This first pay request is primarily to get the gravel in, the prep work prior to paving. Since this pay request, they've probably done another $750,000, $800,000 worth of work. So they're well on their way. They've got half the paving done. They'll be coming back next week or at the end of this week rather, to do the final pour, and then they'll install some curb and gutter, and they'll be working on sidewalks and bike paths and things like that as we go. We expect completion of this sometime in September.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Reif and a second from Councilman Reinbold. These will all be tied together like 8th Avenue, like the rebar structure that we're going back and kind of retrofitting.
Yes, it's all there.
Other questions for Robin on this one? Otherwise, Jordan, would you give us a roll call vote on that payment, please?
Councilmember Norvstrup,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Reif,
Aye.
Liebelt,
Aye.
Foberg,
Aye.
Mayor Shonneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Next, we've got a review and approval of claims and payroll. Our bills are for the list for the week of August 15th, and payroll is for the pay period of July 31st through August 13th. Can I get a motion to pay those claims and payroll?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilwoman Liebelt and a second from Councilman Norvstrup. And keep in mind, you can abstain from any individual item if you see fit. Jordan, would you give us a roll call, please?
Councilmember Foberg,
Aye.
Liebelt,
Aye.
Reif,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Norvstrup,
Aye.
Mayor Shonneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Next, we've got our city manager's report. Joe, what have you got tonight?
A few things. One, it's hard to believe, but summer's almost over and it's time to head back to school. So one of the things that Chief McNeil and his staff start working on is making sure there's officers around schools. We hear quite a little bit sometimes that folks drive a little fast around school zones. So especially these first few weeks of school, you'll probably see a increased presence there. Also, just a reminder, we went through the budget work session, and thanks to all of you for your help on that. We'll finish up a few little things and bring it back to you for the first reading in September, which will be on Tuesday, September 6th. The first meeting, the first Monday falls on Labor Day, so it will actually be the day after that on Tuesday. And then also, I'll be out next week. I won't be at the meeting. I'm going to be attending a conference, and it's kind of a unique conference. It's a small group. It's more of a summit is what they call it. There's about 35, 40 city managers that are going to be there. And the interesting thing is we fill out a questionnaire ahead of time on our topics. And I was going through it today, and it's interesting. These are folks from all over the nation. And some of the things that we saw, common items, probably the biggest one is staffing. In particular, recruitment and retention of employees was a big part of it. Aging infrastructure, inflation was a common category. Economic development and housing. Those were some of the biggest ones. And it's interesting. I think we've talked about them all here. So I'm excited to go to that and see what good ideas I can bring back. So I will not be at the meeting next week, but I will be hard at work. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Joe. And with that, I would take a motion to adjourn this session.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Reinbold and a second from Councilman Norvstrup. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, nay. Motion does carry. We are adjourned. Thank you all very much.